counting down to a critical meeting that could reshape the future of Russia's war in Ukraine. Just days after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump will hold talks with Ukrainian President Zelensky tomorrow at the White House. But Trump and Zelensky will not be alone. European and NATO leaders announcing today that they will be at Zelensky's side during the high-stakes sit-down. Yet, with the memory of Trump and Zelensky's last Oval Office meeting still fresh in the minds of world leaders, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is dismissing concerns that tomorrow will be a repeat.
The country's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Zelensky also speaking out this morning with the president of the EU. Zelensky laid out what needs to happen tomorrow as Trump says he is now focused on securing a peace deal rather than a ceasefire. CNN's Ben Wiedemann is in Kyiv. CNN's Kevin Liptak is at the White House. Ben, to you first. What are leaders in Europe saying about this upcoming meeting tomorrow between Trump and Zelensky, and now a lot of support for Zelensky by way of European leaders and NATO leaders?
Yes, well, they had this video call today. Ukraine's major supporters, along with President Zelensky, where they're really just sort of coordinating their positions in preparation for the meeting tomorrow in Washington. And I think, you played the clip from the Oval Office in February where Trump really laid into Zelensky. And I think that's at the top of the minds of European leaders and obviously President Zelensky as they prepare for that meeting. The fear is that President Trump, who in the weeks leading up to the Alaska summit took a fairly hard line on Russia, on President Putin, has now switched. He's said that he wants to go straight for a final peace agreement, skipping a ceasefire altogether, which is very much the Russian line. So the worry is that President Trump, after the Alaska summit, has shifted somewhat, so they want to make sure that he gets back on an even keel. And in fact, the Polish foreign minister, Radoslaw Sikorski, put out a note on social media saying that for peace to come, pressure must be placed on the aggressor, not the victim. Perhaps a reminder to President Trump who it was who invaded this country in the first place. And of course, the worry is that President Putin is saying that he wants Ukraine to cede control of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, something the government here has flatly rejected, as well as people who we spoke to today in the streets of Kyiv.
If some people come to your house and steal your kitchen, your bedroom, you say, okay, stay here. No, it's not okay. It's not good for us. We are freedom people, and I hope we don't take any piece of our lands.
So there really is resistance to this idea that somehow, in order to achieve peace, Ukraine has to surrender large chunks of its territory. That area known as the Donbass, that's Donetsk and Luhansk, together is a manufacturing center of Ukraine. For Ukraine to surrender that would be a huge loss. And that explains why there's really so much resistance to this idea put forth by the Russian president. Frederica?
All right, Ben Wiedemann, thanks so much. All right, Kevin, to you at the White House now. Update us on what the administration is saying, not just about tomorrow's sit down with Zelensky and now, let's call it his entourage or his supporters, but also about Trump's meeting with Putin.
Yeah, and this meeting tomorrow is really shaping up to be quite a consequential moment. In all my years covering the White House, I don't remember another time when so many top leaders have kind of convened all at once at the last minute, which gives you a sense, one, of the urgency that they feel in trying to reach a peace in Ukraine, but also the urgency they feel in ensuring that they are not sidelined in how this all comes about. Now, the way I understand this will shape up tomorrow is that President Trump and Zelensky will meet individually with their their delegations before moving on to this larger format meeting with the other European leaders. We have been hearing today from all three American participants in that summit with Vladimir Putin. On Friday, we heard from President Trump, who said that there was big progress made on Russia and stay tuned. But perhaps more importantly, we heard from the two advisors who were with him in that meeting, the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who were both framing that summit as a success and trying to explain why the president had moved away from this idea of an immediate ceasefire. Remember, he said going into the summit he would be disappointed if that was not a result, and he said afterwards that that was no longer a goal of his. Rubio said that was because essentially Russia wouldn't agree to it, but what Witkoff said happened was that Russia made some significant agreements during those talks that, in his view, made it no longer necessary to do the ceasefire. They were going to skip ahead a step and go straight for this larger peace deal based on what he said were some significant concessions from the Russians. Listen to more of Steve Witkoff.
We agreed to robust security guarantees that I would describe as game-changing. We didn't think that we were anywhere close to agreeing to Article 5 protection from the United States, in legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territory when the peace deal is codified, legislative enshrinement in the Russian Federation, not to go after any other European countries and violate their sovereignty.
So you hear there really kind of the most fulsome accounting of what happened over the course of that 3-hour summit from Witkoff. And just to delve into one of the things he said there, which is this idea of a security guarantee modeled after NATO's Article 5 clause that says an attack against one is an attack against all. Witkoff described that as essentially a workaround. Because Russia has said that Ukraine can never join NATO, this is a way to sort of provide assurance to Ukraine that once this war ends, Putin isn't able to kind of regroup and go after the rest of the country after a few years. Now, there are a lot of outstanding questions about what exactly that would look like, namely what the U.S. role in that would be. You know, Trump has said pretty explicitly that American troops will not be on the ground in Ukraine, so it doesn't seem exactly clear how the U.S. and other NATO countries would provide that kind of guarantee to Ukraine. But certainly that will be a major topic of discussion among the leaders here tomorrow. I should just note, Rubio himself was a little more guarded about the momentum here. He said that we are still a long ways off from a peace agreement, that we are not at the precipice, but certainly both of these men describing some significant progress as we head into this consequential moment tomorrow.
All right, Kevin Liptak at the White House, Ben Wiedemann in Kyiv, thanks to both of you. Appreciate it.